One of the things that got me into security, I think, is my mother. She's very suspect of anything. She's taught me to be very suspicious. I remember I was a big comic book fan, right? So I was a little kid, and there's one there in a comic sheet. If you could draw Skippy the turtle or whatever, Freddy the squirrel, send it into this. We're going to examine see if you have the aptitude to, what she pointed out, give us money. So it was correspondence art school, and I'm all proud, like, Mom, look, doesn't it just look like it? And she's, Larry, everybody wins the contest. And I said, but no, they said Larry, trust me. That's what they want you to think. You know what they want? They want your money. And, when viruses came out and malware and stuff, and people were like, oh, well, the first malware, like delete your hard drive or display a marijuana leaf or anything. And people warned later on, well, they could make rockets or, planes fall from the sky. And I go, no, they want your money. And think about it, what's the difference between money and wealth? And I asked that question. I got that from an author, Robert Anton Wilson. He says, wealth is what we have. These are all the goods and services. These are all the products that we've developed, the technologies. It's what makes us who we are. If money is there to trade it, but if you destroyed all the money, we'd still be wealthy. It'd just be who's in charge. If you destroyed all the wealth, it doesn't matter whose money. We'd be poor. Well, in 1987, money wasn't necessarily destroyed, but it went from paper in transactions, for the most part. We don't trade money in gold or paper, we trade in electronics. So to me, what hackers are going to want is the electronic money representation. That's what they're going to want. So that's what I've been warning. And when Zeus came out, I was like, I told you so. Forget these denial of service, they want your money. My mother also, she's very suspect. No matter what you do, Larry, that's what they want you. That's how they get you. So just normal things. You take her to the Chinese buffet. She's like, and don't fill up with the rice and the breads, Larry. That's how they get you. You eat the meat, you eat the fish. Mm-hmm. But when she's really upset, they get you coming and going, Larry. First they raise the price, and now they tax it. So she just has me suspicious when people say to me, hey, my car's broken down, can you help me? I don't necessarily think their car's broken down. Oh, yeah, really?
That's what they want you to think.
That's what they want you to think.
That's how they get you.
That's how phishing attacks work. They want you to think it's your bank. That's how the Smurf attack works. I want you to think it's your IP address.
Right.
And what really also helps me understand how to take a test, and I try it with my students all the time, I said, you can't come to terms with somebody if you don't understand the terminologies. And when you're reading a test, it's very difficult to understand the semantics of business vocabulary. So she taught me to extract the Greek origin. She's like the father from my big fat Greek wedding. So, did you ever see the movie?
A long time ago.
Oh, that's great. So you remember the father, he's like, you give me any word, I show you how this word comes from the Greek. And he gives an example. It's like arachna means spider, phobia, fear, arachnophobia. And his daughter's friend tries to throw him off. She goes, okay, Mr. Papadakis, where does the word kimono come from? He goes, kimono. Yes, hominis is Greek, mean winter, and winter is cold. You wear a robe. Hominis, kimono, come from the Greek. But actually, it really comes in handy, and I'll show you. Like, for instance, I have people involved in forensics, and they never know what it means. You've been in forensics, what does it mean? It comes from the Greek. It means to be in a forum. We debate. We don't know what's true. Let's debate and figure out, now, we're going to win the debate. Someone's going to win. I bet I have something that proves it. It's quite obvious. It has his fingerprint right on there. It's evident. And evidence is what you do to help win that debate. But most people don't even understand the meaning of the word. I pull it up with religion. People say, I'm very religious. Or they go, I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. Like, what does religion mean? It comes from the Greek. Re means to do again. A league. We were once one. And I don't know, if you just go with the best scientists in the world, they tell me 7 billion years ago, the universe was one. Big bang happens, everything moves in a different direction. But re-leaguing to me is to remember that you and I, even if I get in an argument with you, we came from the same thing.
Right.
I have to remember at the end of the day, we're all one. We all came from that thing. So what do I teach most of the time? Risk management. Cyber comes from the Greek, means to steer. And risk means cliffs under the water. Now think about that. We have a lot of dangers right now. Kids texting while they're driving. Very dangerous to drive a car and not pay attention where you're going. You got to pay attention. You got to watch things. Mm-hmm. I have to watch my network. We stress all the time in our class that if you want to really understand, you want to respect your network, you're going to look at it. You're going to look at it, and I like to use tools like Wireshark or Pilot. They're going to have it in your CEH lab. You have CAPSA, Kolosov's CAPSA. Fantastic tools to look at your network and understand it. But even if you do look, there are things you can't see. There's going to be dangers. I can't see the cliffs under the water. Right? These cliffs under the water are invisible. The only way I would have known about it is either I bumped into it or somebody else bumped into it, and I learned from them. So we always, as I say, if you don't learn from history, you're forced to repeat it. So it's important to respect your elders. We teach the students in our karate class. There's a reason for that. They know things you don't know. Now the kids can get cocky. Go, yeah, but I'm doing something. It wasn't like that for them. Well, that's true. You could steer in new waters. But learning that lesson, there still could be dangers under the things I can't see, and I have to be prepared to, if I can't prevent, detect and respond. So that's why we have somebody looking out to see if there's a leak in the boat. Someone, if we do have a crash, do we have a lifeboat? Do we have some way to get back? So security is about prevention, detection, and response, and risk management means to understand there are dangers that you can't see. Be ready.
Break all the rules, figure things out and make something cool happen. Just be cool, baby.